Investing in property is the best financial decision you can ever make. And the best thing about investing in property is it is super simple to do. Well, that is what all the gurus want you to think. I am not so convinced. In today's video, we're going to look at 5 reasons why you should be investing in property. How's it guys? Dwaine Pretorius here. Welcome to another video on my channel where we look at investing, small business and crypto. So the channel's name is quite simple, Dwaine Pretorius, that's me, and I'm glad to meet you. Hopefully I can add some value to your life today, and hopefully you can learn a few lessons from the mistakes that I've made. So today, 5 reasons why it's a great idea to invest in property. First reason is you could use other people's money to leverage off and to make a lot of money with. So what does other people's money mean? For instance, when we buy property, you go to a bank and you can borrow up to 100% of the total value of that property. There's a reason why they do that. Okay, the reason is that property that you are buying is valuable, and that property is a very good store of value. So what that means is that if you buy a property for 500,000, there is a very good chance that in 5 years time you can sell that property again for 500,000. Okay, so that is why the banks are willing to loan up to 100% of the purchase value to you to buy that property with. Okay, and you can do with that property whatever you want. They don't tell you can't rent it out. They don't tell you that you need to stay there. You can do with it what you want. If you miss a few payments and they repossess the property, that's not a problem for them because they can probably sell it for what you bought it for. But that is what they think. The second reason why it's a great idea to invest in property is the time spent on an investment equals success. Okay, well, that is what all the gurus say. Okay, so why do they say this? Okay, you can probably spend a lot of time to find the perfect deal, and the perfect deal would result in a very good return on investment. Or you could actually look at buying a property that is a bit run down, renovate it again, spending your time on that property, and then turning it into a very good deal. The other one could be you can spend time networking with banks or estate agents or everyone that's part of this deal that can make the deal more lucrative for you. So that's reason number 2. Reason number 3, insider trading is legal. So in the stock market, if you get caught having information that you use to your benefit that someone else didn't know about, called insider trading, then you can go to jail. Okay, but when it comes to the property game, this is legal. Okay, so what that means is you probably have you spend a lot of time, like we covered in number 2, okay, to set up relationships with banks or with estate agents. And those estate agents or banks, whenever they've got a default or whenever they have a new property that's coming onto the market, before it gets onto the market, they come to you as an investor first, and then they offer it to you. You can then go to the seller and either give him a good offer or a just below fair price offer, and you can get a deal at a better price. Why is it called insider trading? It's called insider trading because you knew about the deal before everyone else in the market, that it never entered the market, it never arrived on a property app or whatever the case is there. You bought it directly from the seller and the estate agent linked you before going to market. That's why it's called insider trading. The 4th reason why it's a great idea to invest in property is there is numerous ways to make money. So the number 1 way to make money out of rental properties or property investments is cash flow. Second is capital appreciation. Okay, capital appreciation means that when you bought your property 3 years ago, it was worth 500,000. Now 3 years later, it is worth 600,000. So what has happened there? The value of your property has gone up, just like a share or a share in the stock market would go up. Your property value has gone up, and that is what we call capital appreciation. Okay, that is the type of thing that you invest into the stock market for, and you hope the share's value goes up. And the same with the property. The property's value probably could go up, but it's also not guaranteed. Okay, and then the 3rd one is equity. Equity refers to the amount that you are paying off in your bond. Okay, so what that means is with every payment that you make every month, there is 2 parts to that payment. Okay, there's an interest portion and there's an equity portion. So what happens is every time when you pay, let's say month 1, you pay 10,000. Okay, 1,000 goes off your equity, so that means you owe 1,000 less. So let's quickly look at our example that we said with the capital appreciation. So let's say that you borrowed 500,000 from the bank. Okay, so you've got 500,000 here. Now you have been paying every month. Okay, now you're paying. Now it's year 3. Now you would like to sell the property. Okay, but now when you sell it, you don't owe the bank 500,000 anymore. You owe it less. So let's say, for instance, in this case, 480. That means you've got 20,000 equity locked up into that property. Okay, I'm specifically leaving out guarantees here because I want this to be a wide video that anyone can understand. The fifth reason is it is completely passive. So if you wake up tomorrow morning with a sore throat or COVID has hit you and you need to be in isolation for 2 weeks, your tenant is probably still going to pay for the property that he is staying in. So it's completely passive. Okay, so that is 5 reasons why it's awesome to be investing in property. But guys, I would like to share 5 reasons why it's also not as simple and easy as what the gurus say. Okay, so this is the lessons. Okay, if you want to stop the video here, go for it. But I think you'll learn a lot of lessons out of the next 5 points that you need to take into consideration when you're considering investing. Okay, perfect. So reason number 1, why it's not as easy to make money in the rental property game is it takes time. Okay, so in South Africa, where I live, to get a cash flowing positive property from day one is really a daunting task. So to find those deals takes a lot of time. And then most likely you're not going to find them, and then you tell yourself, okay, let's invest in something else. And then it might take you a few years to turn into a positive cash flow. So it takes time. And then the other thing is those capital appreciation and the equity pots, okay, those are all good and well, but you only realize the appreciation that it's done and the equity when you sell the property. Okay, that takes time overall. Okay, so it's important to understand that the first reason why it's a more difficult thing that the gurus would like you to believe is that it takes time. Second one is you have to deal with difficult people. Now imagine this. Okay, first of all, you got a tenant but he's not paying. Okay, you have to deal with that. Okay, but you said, okay, well, you're going to get an estate agent managing the property. Now you need to make sure that that estate agent is doing his job. Now the tenant comes to you and he keeps telling you there's problems with the plumbing. You fix it the one day, the next day the plumbing is broken again. So guys, number 2 reason why it's more difficult is because of difficult people. Not everyone is willing to pay the rent. Not everyone is willing to do the work that you sign them up for, and you need to make sure that everyone helps you in this regard. The third reason why it's not so easy is paperwork and bookkeeping. Obviously, you're receiving income from your rental. Okay, that is a taxable event. Doesn't matter in which country you are, it's probably a taxable event. So if you would like to get some tax deductibility from that income that you're receiving, you need to keep track of all the expenses every month. You need to keep track of all the interest that you're paying every month, and you need to keep track of all the income that you're receiving. And then let's say you've got a plumbing expense or something else like that. You might have let's say a renovation happening. So that's a capital expense. You need to keep that for as long as you have the property. Okay, so paperwork and bookkeeping also just adds to the tediousness of investing. Obviously, like any investment, there is risk, okay? And what people would like you to think is that in the property game, your risks are less. Guys, your risks aren't less. Okay, the trouble with the property game is that you could literally lose your whole investment or even more. Okay, let's say for instance, okay, that you have a property, again, let's use our example, it's worth 500,000. Okay, the tenant needs to pay 9,000 every month. You get him in, and in the first 3 months, he doesn't pay you a cent. Okay, now what happens in South Africa is it's super difficult to get that tenant out, first of all, okay? It's probably going to cost you another 20 to 30 to 40, 50,000 rand, okay, to get that tenant out of the property, and probably another 3 months. Okay, so now you've 6 months no rent. Okay, if you didn't budget or you didn't make sure that you've got enough cash flow to carry those expenses while you are getting rid of a bad tenant, you could possibly go into default at your bank, and your bank could come take the property back. Okay, and if they sell it and you lose money, guys. It's an unfortunate part, but it's something that you need to take into consideration when it comes to investing into properties, especially rental properties. There is a risk, and it's a very real risk. The fifth reason why it's not as easy as everyone wants you to believe is because actually what happens is it really consumes you. Rental property consumes you. If you've got a bad tenant, you're always worried about when is this guy going to be paying. He's making promises, he never pays. How are you going to deal with that? How does it affect your family life? There's a lot of things to consider. So next time when a guru just harps on the positives, remember this video and think of what are the 5 challenges when it comes to investment property. And at least you can have a broad spectrum view, and you can understand the risks, you can understand the advantages of investing into property, but you're not going in blind. Guys, thank you very much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you found this interesting, please subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up. This is episode 2 of my rental property series. Cheers.